about the difference between whatever you believe in sort of organized religion for people who aren't even going to look into it? Because I think at the very least, the positive thinking, it's so important for so many people who have self-doubt, which is like
Yeah.
my entire audience.
And me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll talk. Thank you for asking. Not many people ask me that, and so I will answer you as honestly as I can, and which will cause me to ramble. I promise you.
No, please.
But yeah, it's kind of a similar background where I grew up in the church. Like I went to a Catholic school my whole life, and my dad was a big part of the church and big into these things. But I was like, oh, you're not into, not doing drugs or taking care of your family, um, and just seeing things like I grew up in these churches where they would always have these like, yeah, again, homophobia or just talking about how I went to a church where a woman was a pastor, and then they were all like, "Oh, woman's supposed to sit at the right hand of the father. You can't be the head of a church." And I was just like, "This is so ungodly. This is so
Yeah.
like not what this is supposed to
Dumb.
be about." Yeah, and it really hit me a lot as a young black child at that time because it was again a lot of the homophobia where I was like we're used to people judging us because of a thing that we can't control because of the color of our skin.
Right.
And then at the same time, the black community is one of the most homophobic communities in the world, uh, as far as, judging people just for the people that they love. And that never made any sense to me.
Sure.
And so for a while, I turned away from all organized religion and religion in general. And, but it never really sat well in me. Um, and then it just became a point where I just kind of was like God's within me and churches is within me, and I have to have a moral code and I have to have a set of rules I live by, or I'm just adrift,
Right.
you know. So it just became more about me treating people better, me choosing to be nice to people, and I just a lot of the positive stuff comes from the fact that I came from a very negative background.
Mm.
That my mom, I grew up in an abusive household, and I've been in several abusive households,
Jeez.
and um, it was just a time period where when I was very young, I remember talking to my sister, and I was like, we must be going through all these things because our future is going to be so bright
Oh.
and our rest of our life is so good that we have to earn it.
Mm.
And but then there was a time period when I was in my early 20s where I was waiting for it. I was
Right.
like, the world owes me. Like, when's it coming? When's it coming? And it's a lot about that tarot reading that that lady gave me. You're waiting for it to come to you.
Right.
You're waiting for the universe to bring it to
The
you.
king of comedy bestows it upon you.
Yeah, that someone's gonna come pluck me out of this bank call center and say, "No, you're so funny when you talk to people on the phone. You should be in comedy," you know? And so it was this thing of like, I think our minds are so powerful that we can create our own realities and we can create, and so I started to really focus on like I need to create a positive reality.
Mm.
There needs to be about positivity in my head. And there's, of course, there's a natural cycle of the world where there's going to be bad days, there's going to be traumas, there's going to be deaths, there's going to be things like that. But I have to control me, what I can control, and my positive attitude, and my goal setting, and my grind, and that's pretty much what I believe in. Do I believe in a higher power? Yeah, I do. But I don't necessarily give it a name. I don't necessarily go to any church. I just try to truly treat people right. But I'm not a pushover. I always tell myself like an energy mirror. Like I will give you what you give me. I
Yeah.
will come at you from a place of positivity. But if you want to meet me with negativity, I will return it to you because I
Yeah.
don't want to carry it. I don't want to walk around with that for my day.
You did grow up fucking struggling hard. And I think a lot of people, when they hear tarot and manifesting, they think of like the white ladies I used to date in Silver Lake, and you know what I mean. But like like you really did pull yourself out when shit didn't work. How did you kind of pull out of that? Did that feel like a roadblock to you, or I feel like I finally started to accept it when instead of getting pissy, I would just sort of breathe and be like, maybe I'm not supposed to do this. And I've never been able to put it into words, but you put it into words earlier when you said, like, maybe that was something I just wanted for my ego. And then I would take my career in a path because I was thinking of like, well, what do I actually want to do, or what's actually going to help people, not what I think I'm supposed to do that'll make me successful. And then suddenly I was like, oh, fuck, that's it. And I wonder if that does sort of tie into the manifesting where like, yeah, you can vision board whatever, but if you're doing that shit for the wrong reasons, the universe can still be like, nope, you're not there yet, dude. You got to figure it out.
Yeah, no, I think you absolutely nailed it. And just talking about how can I help? What can I do to help? Like, just take my podcast, for example, which is, not obviously it's not one of the biggest podcasts in the world, but it's been very helpful to me. A lot of people have responded to it.
It's really successful. Yeah, I mean, I'll say it.
It's a pretty successful, especially for how young it is. It's a pretty successful podcast. And I've seen a lot of people be like, oh, what made you do it this way? And it was really like, how can I help? What makes me feel better? Yeah. It wasn't like, oh, this is going to work. It was quite the opposite. I was like, I'm pretty sure most of my peers are going to make fun of me. And like, and some people are not going to like it. And some people don't like it. Some people have flat out told me, oh, it's too positive for me. I don't get it. It's not what I think. A lot of times, a lot of comedians put value in like reputation and how many specials we get and how much money we get, and then you can be happy.
Right. And then they're never happy.
And they're never happy. But if you're just happy, there's so many people who think I'm like rich as shit. I'm like, I'm okay. I'm doing okay. I can buy some action figures.
Right.
But I'm not.
That's not even a real basketball hoop.
No. But I carry this sense of happiness with me just because, hey, compared to where I came from, I am rich.
Fuck yeah.
So in every form and fashion, with my son, with my fiance, with my bank account, with everything, I am doing great. And so I try to listen to those facts. And why continue to beat myself up? Why put myself down? Why tell myself a story that is not true just because it used to be true? And odds are it was never really true. It was just things that I let people tell me.